Looking at how to assemble a 10 by 10 frame tent, there are three main parts to the frame. There is a rafter pipe. You can see the relative lengths here. And the rafter pipe goes from the center to the corner. There's a side pipe. That's the longest one. That's on the side here. And this is a telescopic leg. It has an insert in it. It's the shortest one. We'll use those for the legs. There are four corner connectors, which we've laid out, and one crown connector. The corner connectors are oriented this way. These are at right angles. There's a sloped piece for the rafter. The ring is attached to the post that is vertical, so just put it in that position. Line up the hole with the pipe, with the hole on the connector, and insert your pins to assemble one corner. You'll do that on all four corners. When the corners are connected to the side pipes, you can then, after all four are connected, insert each of the four rafter pipes and then connect the crown to the four rafter pipes. So that's how the frame is assembled. The frame has been assembled, the pyramid shaped top. Notice that we haven't inserted the legs yet. Next, we're going to put the fabric over the top and tie it loosely in the corners. Next, you can lay out the fabric over top of the frame, and at each corner you're going to take this strap and loosely tie it to the ring. This is to hold the top in place if you're setting up when it's windy. We're going to lift the top next. With the assistance of at least one other person, you're going to lift one side of the tent and put in two legs. The insert or the foot is at the bottom, so we're just going to line up the holes on the leg with the hole on the connector, put a bolt in from the outside, and then we're going to use a nut on the other side of the leg.
Good to go.
So we started by putting two legs in with at least one other person, and then we inserted the legs on the other side, and now the canopy is resting on the legs. When we laid the top onto the frame, this was just a loose knot holding in this ring, and that was to keep the top from flying away if it's windy during setup, which is often the case. Now what we're going to do with these corner straps is we're going to wrap them tight around the leg and through this loop here, which we think of as a pulley, and we will tie a knot there in all four corners. That will secure the outside corners to the frame. Coming inside, the middle of each side of the tent will have a strap and another loop, which again we think of as a pulley. We'll put the strap through there, pull it tight and tie a knot. And we'll do that on all four sides. Some tents may have additional straps in the corners. These straps can just be tied around the pipe. The top has now been secured to the frame. Next, what we do is we take the nut and bolt out of the bottom of the leg and telescope the tent up. We'll reinsert the bolt from the outside towards the inside and put the nut back on. The legs are telescopic to allow us to tighten the top onto the frame at a lower elevation and then raise it later to a working elevation. So we're going to do this for all four legs. The best way to anchor a tent on soil is with an auger stake. So they'll have an auger blade at the bottom and some kind of ring at the top. The correct location is to draw a straight line from the opposite corner or the opposite leg to the leg that you're working on, and then out from there the length of the auger. correct position is to position the auger so that when it's attached to the rope, the two of them together make a straight line. To put the auger in, you just use the rod that we provide. You can put some downward pressure on it, either by pushing down or stepping on the blade, and then turning around. Usually if the ground is not too hard, it'll be relatively easy to just screw the auger in. And you can see the angle that the auger is going in. It creates a straight line with the rope once it's properly installed. In terms of depth, we want to put the auger about 3/4 of the way down, so only about 25% should be above the surface of the ground. Once the auger has been installed, you can tie a rope to the ring and then turn it further in order to tighten the rope. The other type of anchor that we have is a tent stake. Tent stakes are more useful if the ground is really hard and you can't install an auger. So to install a tent stake, the tent stake is angled opposite of the augers. The top is angled away from the leg. You just hammer that into the ground. Again, about 3/4 of the way. Tie your rope to it. And the easiest way to tighten it is to hammer it further. At a minimum, the tents should have 2 augers on opposite corners, deep into the ground, nice and tight. Typically that's adequate for anchoring. If you're in a windy location, the augers should hold the tent in place, but you may want to add tent stakes on the other 2 corners for extra stability. The walls are attached by hanging these S-hooks onto a rope that is attached to the canopy. The end of each wall has side release snaps that can be used to attach it to another wall, which we would do over there to continue that wall. But these snaps can also snap around to each other to attach the end of a wall to a leg. For a 10 by 10, you would need 2 of our walls to cover 3 sides. It'll go from this leg around the 3 sides, or 30 feet, to that leg, leaving a 10-foot side open. The walls are 15 feet long. And that's it.